Hello, everyone. My name is Marley Parker, and I am very excited to be here today. Very honored to be part of the Teach for LA workshop series. And yeah, thank you so much for being here, and thank you for having me. So we'll just go ahead and dive in. Yvonne, if you don't mind switching over to the next slide. So you may have noticed just from the title of this talk, and Yvonne, if you'll click it again, my social media handles will pop up down there. So you may have noticed from the title of this talk, bringing the deep sea into your classroom. That's a little bit of a unique title and a unique topic. And that is because my job and the work that I do is also pretty unique. So I'm going to start off by telling y'all a little bit about that. Yvonne, if you can go to the next one. So again, my name is Marley. I am a professional photographer, videographer, science writer, and editor. And my specialty as a photographer and communications professional is going out with teams of scientists, typically ocean scientists, marine biologists, oceanographers, and documenting and producing stories about the work that they do. So it's a very unique job. I spend a lot of time working on boats, working in and sometimes under the water. Again, just trying to document and tell the stories of different researchers and the work that they're doing in the middle of the ocean. It is a very fun, very exciting job. And it's also a job that I did not know existed when I first started doing this work about a decade ago. We'll go to the next one. So just a little bit more about me and my background. I have been working as a professional science communicator for well over a decade now. My academic background is actually in journalism. I majored in journalism in college. Again, I had no idea that I was going to end up working on boats, but our careers have a way of surprising us. So, I started my career working at a research university doing research communications work. I left that job in 2018 and started my own business. And for the past 8 years, I have been specializing in joining ocean research expeditions, again, as a photographer, videographer. And I've done over 30 ocean expeditions now and spent hundreds and hundreds of days at sea. Again, really exciting, really unique work to do. And along with that, I have also, during many of those expeditions, engaged with students and teachers and classrooms all over the world, sharing some of the science that we're learning in the middle of the ocean. So I will talk more specifically about the educational and outreach component of my work in just a minute. But first, I'm going to share a little bit about the ships that I've worked on. So we'll go to the next one. During the past 8 years, I have worked on about 10 different research vessels. And again, these are ships specifically geared to take scientists and engineers out into the middle of the ocean to conduct research and to test out new technologies, all with the aim of better understanding how our ocean systems work and how we can protect and conserve them. So I've worked all over the world, from the Antarctic Peninsula to the North Atlantic to the Caribbean, and I've done many, many expeditions in the Pacific. And most of the expeditions that I've done in the Pacific have been on this ship. Yvonne, if you can click it one more time. This is the EV Nautilus, and this is the ship that I have done. Of the 30 or so expeditions I've done, 15 of them have been on this vessel. And this is the ship that I will be talking a lot about today because we have some really incredible educational programming that we do on this vessel. So we'll go to the next one. So for those of you who are not familiar with it, the EV Nautilus is over 200 feet long. It is an exploration vessel that is owned by an organization called the Ocean Exploration Trust. And OET, or the Ocean Exploration Trust, was started by Dr. Robert Ballard. He is pretty famous in the world of deep sea exploration and science because he helped to discover the shipwreck of the Titanic. So he used some of his fame and fortune to start the nonprofit, the Ocean Exploration Trust, and our flagship is the EV Nautilus. So during an expedition season, which typically runs from late spring, May or June, well into October or November, about 6 months of the year, the ship will go out on multiple different expeditions and can take up to 52 people at a time out to sea for several weeks. And those 50 or so people will include scientists, engineers, photographers, educators, as well as different crew members on the ship. And everything that we do when we're working out at sea, we will stream on our website called nautiluslive.org. And I'll talk a lot more about how that works in just a second. So we'll go to the next one. So the biggest piece of technology that we use regularly on Nautilus is called an ROV. Our ROV is named Hercules. And this is basically a really sophisticated robot that we send from the ship thousands of feet deep down into the ocean. Unlike some other things you may have seen, this is not a submersible that takes humans down to the seafloor. This is just a robot that takes cameras and sensors and different scientific instrumentation down into the deep sea. It stays connected to the ship the whole time, even when it's thousands and thousands of feet below us. And we can see everything that the ROV is seeing when we send it thousands and thousands of feet down. So we'll go to the next one. This is a great illustration that one of my colleagues did that really gets into all the nitty-gritty details of exactly what's included on our ROV and how it functions. This is also an example of one of our great educational tools for getting students excited about deep sea exploration and exactly how we're able to explore the deep sea. So again, you can see from this illustration all the different components, the cameras, the tether, the sample boxes that allow us to collect little specimens from the ocean floor, the lights that enable us to see what's in the deep, very dark ocean. And I think one of the most remarkable things when we're looking at all the components of an ROV like this one is you have to remember every single thing on this ROV, from the lights to the cameras to the instruments, has to be able to withstand very, very deep pressures, as well as extremely cold, salty water. So it really is an incredible feat of engineering to have this very sophisticated technology that is also resilient enough to go to the bottom of the ocean. Go to the next one. So when we send our ROV into the water, again, it lights up and it goes thousands and thousands of feet deep while staying connected to the ship. And it is connected to the ship through a very long, very strong steel cable that includes a fiber optic cable that can transmit in real time the video footage from the ROV directly back to the ship and to our team in the control room. So we'll go to the next one. And this is a photo I took years ago working in the control room on Nautilus. So again, we can see exactly what the ROV is seeing as it descends and as it traverses across the ocean floor. It's very exciting, very, very crazy to get a front row seat to exactly what is below us, thousands and thousands of feet below us. And in addition to working in the control room and making sure that the ROV is operating as it should be, during dives, we're also regularly facilitating outreach calls, and we call these ship-to-shore interactions or ship-to-shore video calls with classrooms all over the world. So we'll go to the next one, see what that looks like. Oh, this is actually our just a quick shot from our education page. That education is a very fundamental part of what we do, and that all of the deep sea content that we film and all of the things that we learn, we turn into different educational resources. But one of the biggest parts of our educational programming is our ship to shore interaction. So sorry, that's the next one. All right, so here we are in the studio, which is directly connected to the control room. And in the studio, we have excellent internet connectivity, and we can do live Zoom calls with classrooms, with museums, with aquariums, with anyone who's interested in learning more about the work that we do. And during these calls, we will show different areas around the ship and explain exactly what we're looking at and why. So we'll go to the next one. We have all different team members that will come into the studio and talk about what they're doing. So again, it's outreach people like me, people who are specifically there as science educators. And then we also have scientists themselves, engineers, all kinds of people will come into the studio to meet with students and explain what we're doing and to answer their questions. And we'll go to the next one. And again, we can connect with people all over the world in any time zone, in any location, as long as they have a stable internet connection. We are able to chat with them live from the middle of the ocean, which is a pretty amazing thing. And we have facilitated thousands and thousands of these ship to shore video calls over the past several years. And each one of them is really, really special and really fun and often very inspiring for the students who are watching. So we'll go to the next one. From our ship to shore video calls, we can show different areas of the ship. We can show the footage that we're filming on the seafloor if the ROV is in the water, but we can also show specimens that the ROV has collected. So this is a photo from the wet lab. We actually have a camera set up in here, so we could switch over to the real-time feed in the wet lab and show scientists working there. We'll go to the next one and show another part. We can also show a live camera from the back deck where people might be working on the ROV between dives or where other operational activities are happening. And the next one. We can also show our mapping team. So this is another really integral part of our work, is not only sending the ROV into the water, but using our sonar system to create deep sea maps of the seafloor. So we do a lot of education around how and why we are mapping the bottom of the ocean. Next. And then I also always love to show just what our team looks like and who is on board. This is a photo I took from one of our expeditions last summer, where we just happened to have a lot of really amazing young women working on the ship. So we always like to highlight that and highlight the diversity of our shipmates and our participants in our program. And then this is a short video that explains a little bit more about exactly how our ship to shore interaction program works. So hopefully this will play. It's just about 2 minutes long, short and sweet, and shows exactly how our ship to shore programming works. Hopefully it will play.
Half a day and good morning to you all.
Hola amigos, bienvenidos a Nautilus.
Hi Valerie.
Hello.
Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Ready to bring your learners or community to a corner of the planet never seen before? Join Ocean Exploration Trust and EV Nautilus exploring our ocean planet on expeditions throughout the Pacific.
We have a really fun program here today where we talk about what we do at the Ocean Exploration Trust.
Alongside our 24/7 live stream from sea, we invite educators to request live ship-to-shore Q&A sessions, one-on-one with our team of explorers.
So where are you right now?
What made you inspired to do this?
What is your favorite part of your job?
How hard is it to maneuver the ROV?
What does the octopus look like?
Live interactions are available for free to educational groups of any size or age range. From pre-K to college, individual classrooms, clubs, assemblies, museums, science camps, and community events. These interactions are 30 minutes long and can focus on different aspects of exploration depending on your curriculum or event. Fuel curiosity about our latest discoveries in the deep sea. Meet STEAM career role models, Connect class concepts with real-world research. Get your questions answered about science, technology, engineering, or life at sea.
You never know what we'll find at the bottom of the ocean, and you could be one of the lucky people who helps us to discover something new.
Interested in learning more? Explore the possibilities at nautiluslive.org/education or check out the link in the description. Connections are available daily, scheduled for time zones worldwide, and again, are totally free. We can't wait for you to join us and explore more.
All right, great. I know that might have been a little bit glitchy or a little bit blurry at points. If you want to watch that video again, or if you have colleagues that you would like to share it with, that video is available on our website under the Ship to Shore program. Just go to nautiluslive.org/education and you should find it. And then, yeah, we are going to be kicking off our expedition season is just about to start here at the end of this month. So if you would like to schedule a ship to shore interaction with your classroom, or again, if you have friends or colleagues who might be interested in connecting with some deep sea explorers in real time, we are always open to scheduling these calls at a time that fits your classroom schedule or your programming schedule. So this is just a screenshot from our website about some of the technical requirements. It's pretty simple, pretty basic, just a basic Zoom connection like what we're doing today is usually all you need. But if you have specific questions or specific requirements, you should be able to find all of the information on our website. And again, we schedule these calls, really any time, any time zone. I've hosted ship to shore calls at 3 a.m. Because it was 8 a.m. on the East Coast or West Coast or wherever. So yeah, don't be shy. Please reach out and please schedule a call with us if you think your students or group would be interested. And then I'm just going to share a few more of the things that we do from the ship. So in addition to scheduling these ship to shore interactions with specific classrooms or specific groups, we also occasionally host live chats from the control room. And this is where we'll bring 10 or 12 people into the control room and go around the room and have folks introduce themselves and tell us a little bit about their backgrounds and their career paths and how they ended up working on a research vessel in the middle of the ocean. So this is always a really inspiring thing for students and a really fun way for us to share a little bit about ourselves. So we'll go to the next slide. And this is just a cool photo I took during one of our expeditions in the North Pacific, really good detailed shot of the control room. So this is where we sit during these live Q&A chats, discussions, and people can tune into these via our website or our YouTube channel and both, listen to the conversation about our career paths, about our experiences, about any advice or insight we would give to future explorers. And they can also see multiple perspectives of where we are in the control room and what it looks like. So we'll go to the last one. And then this is just more examples of what these live Q&A events look like. These are just screenshots from our social media platforms. So if you follow at Nautilus Live, you will get some updates on when we are doing these little live events from the control room. And we usually try to schedule them at times that are convenient for the East Coast and the West Coast of the United States so that people can easily tune in. And then people can also submit their questions through the question box at our website. So just another opportunity to inspire folks to share stories and to connect with deep sea explorers in real time. And then I just wanted to reiterate that our website does include lots and lots of educational resources. In addition to these ship to shore calls and these live events, we also have literally hundreds of lesson plans, of animations, graphics, all different kinds of educational materials for all different age ranges and grade levels. So we'll just click through a couple examples here. That one's about robotics. We also have chemistry lessons for high school students. And then we click through a couple more here. Again, these are just a few examples, and there's literally hundreds of them on our education page, and all different subject matters, all different areas of interest. And then we also have, this is an excerpt from a blog post that I wrote, again, about my career path and about the folks that I was working with on this specific expedition last summer. Both my experience as a science communicator and the experiences of some of my shipmates who also work in education and science communication. So this is, just one blog post. There's hundreds and hundreds more, all about different topics, whether it's our career backgrounds and jobs, or just other really cool science that we've been learning from the deep ocean. So just another example of the great content that we have, and we'll go to the next one. So my last point, if any of this sounds really exciting or cool, or like something you might want to do yourself, if the idea of going out on a ship and working at sea for a couple of weeks, if that sounds exciting to you and not totally crazy, we do actually have opportunities. We have a whole program set up for teachers and educators to come out to sea with us. And that is our Science Communication Fellowship Program. So if we go to the next one, this includes some details about this really, really special, really incredible professional development opportunity. And it's really to give educators a front row seat to what being a deep sea explorer is like, and how they can bring that back to their classrooms. We use the term educator pretty broadly, whether you're a traditional classroom teacher or a non-traditional educator. We welcome you to apply for this fellowship. It is paid. All of your travel is paid. And you'll be part of a year-long cohort of other educational professionals who also really care about the ocean and have an adventurous spirit. So it's an amazing opportunity. We have filled all of the fellowship spots for the 2026 expedition season. That is already planned out and kicked off. But if you are interested in potentially applying for this program for 2027, then those applications will open in the fall. And if you want to get notified of when exactly the applications are open, then I would encourage you to follow our social media at Nautilus Live, and or subscribe to our newsletter, and there will always be announcements about when applications are opening. But this is a really, really phenomenal program. So if you're an educator with an adventurous spirit, if you love the ocean, I would strongly encourage you to apply. Okay, and again, this is just the link to go to when you are ready to do the application, nautiluslive.org/join. And just encourage you to check out our website in general. There's just so much great information there, but we do have a program specifically for educators. So I wanted to make sure that you all knew about that. And then lastly, I just wanted to share a quick story about the meaning and the impact that some of these programs have on young people around the world. So this is one of my shipmates. Her name is Giselle De Leon. She's from San Antonio, Texas. And Giselle sailed with us on Nautilus last summer as a science communication fellow. So she came on board as a STEM educator from the San Antonio Museum of Science and Technology. And we were very, very excited to have Giselle on board, but she was even more excited because she has been following Nautilus Live since she was a kid. And that's how long our programming has been happening now. We've been doing this for almost 20 years. So at this point, we have people coming and working on the ship who saw our videos when they were children, and they were very, very inspired by being able to follow the ship and to see what we were discovering. And they thought, man, I'd really love to work on a ship like that. And now we actually have a couple of them working on the ship, and Giselle is just one of them. So we'll go to the next slide. This is just one more photo of Giselle working in the studio, hosting her own video calls with students back in Texas as well as around the country. And it was really a full circle experience for her because she used to be one of those students on the other end of that call, thinking, man, that's something I'd really love to do one day. And now she gets to do it. So just a little more inspiration for how and why this is such an impactful thing to share with students. You never know, they might actually end up working on our ship one day. And you could too, if you're an educator that is interested in deep sea explorations. So I think that is it for my formal presentation. Again, please follow us on social media, Nautilus Live. Our social media person is very, very active. We're always posting updates about where we're going, what we're doing, and new opportunities that we have coming up to join an expedition. And then again, I can't reiterate enough, there are just hundreds and hundreds of resources, lessons plans, ideas, just all kinds of cool, creative educational resources on our education page. So I know I just threw a lot of information at all of you. If you have questions, I'm very happy to answer questions or just talk a little bit about what it's like to work on the ship. If you have questions about life at sea or anything else that you're curious about, I'm more than happy to take questions. I think there was one or two questions that popped up in the chat while I was presenting. So if I can get those. What grades do we recommend? So our programming is really for all ages. It is helpful if you are requesting a ship-to-shore interaction, if you put what grade your classroom is or what age your students are, then we'll know how to kind of gear our presentation for that age range. When we speak to 5 or 6 or 7-year-olds, which is really the youngest we go. We don't really go below, kindergarten or first grade. And for those sorts of presentations, we keep them pretty simple. They always want to see photos and videos of sharks and whales and dolphins. So we are able to accommodate that. But then, we also present to college level oceanography classes, and we can also, be very ready and prepared to give meaningful presentations to them. So all grades, all ages. I would say that, anything below 6 years old is probably a little tough. Just to get them to sit in front of a laptop for half an hour is a challenge in and of itself. But yeah, we do are happy to present to pretty much every grade level. Okay. Let's see. It looks like someone was asking about links. I am happy to drop some of the links that I mentioned in the chat here, but I think the recording of this presentation will also be available if I mentioned something and you didn't get a chance to jot it down.
And the presentation will be available too, so people can scroll through.
Perfect. Yeah. And I'll drop another link in the chat here as well, just in case. But there's lots of good links and lots of good info on our website. Oh yeah, here we go. Thank you, Yvonne. Thank you so much. Okay, it looks like there was a question about content for pre-K. Like I said, I think about 6 years old. I think first grade is really about as low as most of our resources go. I do have a very good friend who runs a preschool, so maybe I should start an initiative to have more pre-K content. But I think the majority of our educational resources right now and the way that we do our ship-to-shore video calls are mostly geared for first grade and older. But I will put in a request to get more pre-K content. That is important as well for the really young ones to be inspired about the ocean. Any other questions? If there's any questions about our fellowship program that is for educators, if anybody's interested in what that entails or what that's like, happy to answer questions about that or anything else.
I do have a question. I don't know if you want me to put it in the chat box or just say it.
Yeah.
So we're a STEAM school in Ontario, California, and having a partnership with you guys would be amazing. I just happened upon this. I had no idea that this was even happening, and a friend told me about it. And so I would love to start doing something. It's for us, it's the end of the year, but I would love to do some sort of a sign up where the classrooms can start. We're kindergarten through 8th grade. Is it okay? How much notice do you need for us to do something with you guys?
Yeah, for just a basic ship to shore interaction, that's a 30-minute Zoom call. It's helpful to have at least a week of notice with that, but we have pulled it together when our schedule, was open. We could schedule that even just a day before if our schedule isn't totally packed with other activities. But yeah, sometimes we schedule them, months in advance, sometimes a week or two in advance, and occasionally we can make it work to schedule them last minute, a day in advance. But generally we like to schedule them at least a few weeks out.
Could we do a day and have different grade levels, or do you guys only do like once a day?
No, we've done plenty of times where we scheduled, like we had one school that had multiple classes that wanted to meet with us. And so they just scheduled it for, most of that day was just meeting with different classes all at the same school. So from, 1 to 1:30 p.m., we were meeting with the 8th graders. And then from 2 to 2:30, we were meeting with the 5th graders or however they wanted to do it. So that's also an option. Or you could, split that up over 2 or 3 days or whatever works best for you. We are very keen to do whatever works best for the school.
So the best way to do that is just to send you guys an email and get that started?
You can send an email to our education coordinator. Her name is Kelly, but she will most likely direct you to the Google Sheet sign up that we have linked on the website. And that will prompt you to put in, exactly what time, what day, what grade level, any specific requests. You can also request in that sign up sheet if there's a particular type of person you'd like to meet with, if you want to meet with an engineer, if you're, it's a robotics or mathematics class or something and they want to talk to an ROV pilot or an engineer, you can request that. Or if you want to talk to someone who's from California, you can request that. If you want to talk to, a young woman in STEM, you can request all these, whatever we have available on the ship. And again, we do have a very large diversity of types of people from different backgrounds. So you can not only request what date and time and subjects you want to discuss, but you can also request a certain type of person to be giving your presentation, if that makes sense.
Yes, I love that. I'm on the website now. I'll look for the Google Doc. Is it easily visible under the education tab?
I can. It might be easier for me to find. I'm happy to pull that up and I will drop it in the chat if you'll give me just 1 second.
Thank you.
That would probably be a good one to have. Yeah, the website's being a little. We'll get that pulled up in just 1 second. And while I'm looking for this, happy to answer other questions or Lisa, did you have any other additional questions?
I think for now that will answer that, because I would just like to get our feet wet with it. And then maybe once I do that, then we can figure out what it looks like. So I'm the instructional coach here. So I meet with all the teachers and support with planning and teaching. And so I'd love to bring it to all the grade levels, because we try to incorporate STEAM in all of our subjects. And, the kids love the ocean. So, I mean, this would engage them in learning better than almost anything that we can do. So yeah. I love you guys are offering this. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah. It looks like our link for scheduling might not be online yet, because actually starting the second week of June. So they might not have the link on here to request scheduling quite yet. but it should be on that Nautilus Live ship to shore program page. So maybe check back in a week. I'm also happy, I can drop my email address here in the chat. If you are having any problems finding exactly what you need on the website, you can email me directly and I'll help make sure that you get where you need to go with getting connected. We would very much love to connect with your schools. So
thank you. Thank you.
Yeah,
I appreciate it.
Of course. And I'll just leave my email right here. And just reach out anytime if you have any questions or any issues. Okay. Any other questions, comments? Anything else?
I just wanted to share, it's just a comment, but I just wanted to share that I'm planning to reach out because when you mentioned about the robotics, I was like, oh, this would be a perfect thing to share with our teachers because we have a robotics in 2 of our high schools and then also in our middle school. So it'd be really nice to be able to incorporate the ocean and such forth and within the robotics embedded. So definitely we will be reaching out on that. So just wanted to make that comment.
Absolutely. Yeah, we do a ton of interactions with robotics clubs. I'm glad you brought that up. You know, we obviously speak to traditional classrooms, but especially because much of our expedition season happens during the summer, we get a lot of requests for interactions and calls with, you know, robotics summer camps and robotics clubs and, or, you know, Boy Scout troops or Girl Scout troops that are doing robotics projects. So yeah, even if it's just a, you know, an activity or a club, it doesn't have to be a formal classroom. We are happy to meet with any group at any time, really. And robotics is definitely one that we've met with a lot over the years. So we can really do a slam dunk on that one. Thank you for that comment. These are really great questions. I really appreciate them. Do we have any other folks that want to drop a question in the chat or share anything while we're all together here?
I mean, if no one else has questions, I have a question. Really, Marley, just life on the ship. It's so interesting. Like, do you have any, like, what's the craziest thing that has happened? And like, what's the most challenging part of being on a ship, and maybe vice versa? Like, when you're gone, like, what do you miss about that?
Oh man, it's a wild experience living and working on a ship in the middle of the ocean. It's what we lovingly refer to as a dynamic environment. You know, we do get into rough seas sometimes, so seasickness is a part of it sometimes. But we also have medications and protocols and things that help folks overcome seasickness. So if that is a fear or insecurity that people have, we can you know, mitigate that. But yeah, generally speaking, life on the ship it's really fun. Like I said, it's incredibly exciting to go out on an expedition in the middle of the ocean to learn about how our planet works, about, you know, to see literally in real time what is at the bottom of the ocean directly below us. It's just a really fascinating, really fulfilling experience overall. But it's also really special because, you know, you're living and working on a ship for weeks at a time. You get to know your shipmates very well, very quickly. We eat all of our meals together. We have 3 meals a day that are prepared by the hardworking chefs in our galley, and they prepare basically cafeteria style meals 3 times a day. But we all eat together, we talk, we share stories, we share experiences. And there's just a lot of really fascinating people from all over the world that come to work on this ship. So you get to meet really cool people, you get to learn a ton. And, you know, it can be a little exhausting. Our days are long and we do sometimes work in crazy time zones. But we, you know, I think the juice is worth the squeeze, as they say. It's hard work, but it feels really good and it's very rewarding and very fun and fulfilling. So I could give a whole other presentation about life at sea and what all's included in that. But yeah, it is challenging, but also very, very rewarding. That's why I have kept doing it for almost a decade now. Great question. Thank you for that. right. I guess we'll give just another minute or so. If anyone else has any lingering questions, please don't be shy. And if you are feeling shy and you don't want to speak up now, you are more than welcome to email me. My email address is right there in the chat. And as I mentioned earlier, and as Yvonne put in the chat, we've got links to all of our social media, our newsletter, all of our great Nautilus Live resources are available as well. Well, if there are no other questions, I guess we can go ahead and wrap up. Yvonne, thank you again for your technical support with running the slides. I appreciate it. And I really appreciate all of you attending and for asking great questions and for being excited about the deep sea work that we are doing. It is a really, really cool, unique job, and we'd love to have any of you connect with us or to apply to our fellowship program. So thank you all so much.
Thank you, Marley. That was a great presentation. And we can already see there's going to be some live interactions that are going to be happening. And hopefully some folks might be interested in applying for the fellowship. So yeah, hopefully we can is very, very inspiring. So thank you for being
thank you
here.
so much for having me. It's always wonderful to share this, and I hope you all will share it with other colleagues, folks who might not have been here today. Please spread the love. We want as many people as possible to connect with Nautilus and connect with our amazing team of explorers. We are really passionate about education, outreach, and sharing what we do. So please don't hesitate to get in touch, and thank you all again.
Thank you. I'll be reaching out right away. I appreciate it so
Thanks,
much.
Lisa. Yeah, thanks so much.